Cool. Welcome to the October LibreTime community meetup. We try to do this every month on the 19th, or the 17th rather, at 1900 UTC. This month we've had to push it out a bit, but can get back to the 19th potentially in November, but we can talk about that later. I'll just share the agenda so that we've got that one now. So this is the agenda for today, and feel free to add things to it. There is obviously anything else that people want to talk about, more than welcome. You are welcome to add it there. Otherwise, you can bring it up later. So
I think we have also the agenda from the 17th of October. Or did I make it wrong? Yeah, because you weren't there, we talked about it with Hermer, but we didn't talk about this agenda with you. And
okay, yeah, we can certainly add.
Some points can be added to it, I think. Sorry, I didn't do it.
Yeah, cool. I'm happy with that. I suppose let me tell. Okay, and for those following on YouTube and other places, I'm keeping an eye on those, so you're welcome to send your messages either through chat.libretime.org or the YouTube live link or live stream chat. I'm keeping an eye on that. And if you want to join us, you're welcome to do so. The link to the agenda is in the, or the link to the chat is in the agenda. There we go, that way around. Okay, shall we dive into progress reports and what we're working on?
Yeah.
Do you want to dive into or get into the bullseye stuff?
I think the last time we met and we were still on the work in progress, and I think now we're pretty close to merging all the work in the main branch. And so I don't know if there's anything much we have to talk about it, but yes, it's anytime soon it will be merged in the main branch. So yeah, copy paste it, but maybe it's not really worth talking about it, just maybe announcing it.
Yeah, I think both Bullseye and 2004 are now pretty much ready to go, and kind of just need final testing and merging.
Yeah, same for Bullseye, and I think we are pretty much on the same page regarding both PRs.
Yeah, I think they're mostly doing the same thing for. In fact, I haven't actually seen any major differences between the two.
Yeah, and additionally, I've been testing Bullseye, LibreTime on Bullseye for like 1 week now, and I haven't seen any problem. It's only a staging environment. I will maybe try to push it to production if everything goes well sometime next week, and we'll have a lot of testing.
Cool. The only thing I see in the Vagrant file stuff's been merged, so those changes are now in main. Other than that, it all looks good. So yeah, we can. I definitely think get that in the next couple of days. Should be great. Okay. Yeah. Then is anyone else working on anything that they want to add?
Oh yeah, maybe I'm doing a lot of little projects here and there, and maybe one that I can bring up now. I've been trying to refactor all the Liquid Soap scripts so we can start moving to Liquid Soap 2. And I've seen a lot of duplication, and I was hoping to rework the whole thing mixed up with Jinja templating, so we can have some kind of more easily, like creating more libraries instead of making a huge main script and dedicating the main script for the real logic and just pushing all the notification and the communication with playout and the API to something more library based instead of having everything wrapped inside the main script. And this will allow us to make some picking on some function that might be not compatible for some Liquid Soap version. And yeah, I've been hoping to push this anytime soon. But I haven't really described it much what I've done, but yeah, I'll try to push it someday.
Cool. Yeah, I think once the Bullseye and 2004 stuff lands, I want to start working on focusing on more the view rewrites and ideally get V3 out the door. So I can get this stuff that I want to get working that's kind of dependent on that. So yeah, that's kind of what I'd like to get done as well.
Sorry, could you explain a bit more what this blocker for what you need?
So mainly there's some front ends and things to make LibreTime work for some of the clients I'm using or clients I'm working with. So things like an API client that we actually use a modern kind of extendable front end that we can add things like live shows and essentially a studio view, something like that would be great.
Okay.
So yeah, that's long term. I've been talking about implementing live streaming into LibreTime for a good couple of years, so it's a long term project, but it certainly once we've got decent API clients and stuff, it'll be something that we can move forward with.
Yeah, and I think it's really close with the release of Liquid Soap 2.0. I think we have now the possibility to stream live, like video. Maybe
Yeah.
I misunderstood what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe version 3, let's have a look at milestones here. 3.0 beta has a couple things tagged for it, like the 2004 and Bullseye support, a couple database migrations that need to be doing. I've kind of been thinking about the 3.0 release, and I'm not sure like kind of what the point of a beta release is when we're ripping out everything pretty much once it's released. So it's more, I'm not sure we necessarily need a beta in terms of a release that is going to be a release candidate and something that we then are going to support for X period of time. But I don't know. I'd be curious to know what other people's thoughts are.
I'm not sure I understand. You mean you're willing to release V3 without going through beta phase?
No,
or even a release phase?
I think we do need the beta phase. It's just I'm not sure how long we're going to be able to support a V3 without like because of all the planning and stuff that we have to rewrite the front end eventually and things like that. So yeah, I guess. Yeah,
The
what is our goal for a V3 final release? Is it something that looks and feels pretty much like LibreTime is now, and then do we work on rewriting things like feature parity with airtime, or do we get the betas as a, or use the betas as a platform for rewriting things like the front end?
from what I understand is that the V3 was supposed to be in future feature parity with airtime, and it's also something that Henry told me is that we're still missing the watch folders feature, and I wasn't sure if we should release beta before implementing this and adding it to V3. And I was thinking the sooner we'll release V3, the better it is. But this is still a huge blocker, from what I can understand. And yeah, and in my opinion, I will go for, I don't know, release V3. I don't think I personally need the watch folder feature right now, but I know it will be handy at some point in the future. And I will not mind releasing V3 as soon as possible and just keep it in a branch and maintaining it for like the 2 next years, and having the main branch dedicated to a V4 and like break everything in it we need to break, and keep working on the API clients and the Vue front end and all what we want to break in the V4, instead of having still a lot of work merged into V3.
Yeah, the two things kind of that we're missing from airtime parity are the watch folders, and then also recording from line in. So it's that bug is still open. I don't quite know what the extent of how that feature worked. I never really worked with it myself, so to need someone who's actually familiar with how that goes. But yeah, those I think are the kind of the two main features that we still need for AV3.
With regards to the line-in recording, I think there is a plenty of tool that can be put between LibreTime and the mic. So this could be suppressed from the blocker, and maybe the watch folder is the one really that's needed, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm not sure it was actually. Yeah, my understanding was it's not a. Yeah, it's unfair. It's useless. Trying to find any of the documentation on it. But yeah, it looks like it was more just being able to record your voiceover tracks from within airtime instead of having to upload them, which, yeah, in my mind is kind of superfluous and not a huge blocker, whereas the watch folders are definitely more of a thing that's well used and well needed. There's a lot more use cases for it than being able to record a line into your browser.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm sorry, but maybe I didn't understand. But maybe I saw that someone just took care of this issue about line-in, but maybe it's another issue. But I saw someone jumping on it and taking care of it, but maybe I missed it. I don't know. I have to browse the issue tracker.
Looks like, yeah, there was a commit to Ground Truth New Zealand's fork that never made it back to upstream. I'll post it in the chat. Oh, I'll post it in the. So maybe that just needs testing and from opening a PR as to merge back into master.
Yeah, I have a link. Maybe where is it?
Yeah, I put a link in the
Oh yeah.
In the agenda.
Okay, cool. Does it have anything to do with the link I'm pasting next to it? The issue 964?
No, this is a different one. This is running from issue number 42.
Okay, yeah, sorry. So I misunderstood.
Oh, good.
I guess we can just put it in some kind of let's see what happens status and just focus our work on maybe the watch folders for the V3 release. And maybe try to see if we can, merge and test this. I'll be happy to just pull the patch and try it, but I don't have any use case, so it will be a bit difficult for me to test it.
Me too. And there was a couple interesting corner cases here of we need to decide on things like how do we how do we deal with the files? Do we move them in? Do we leave them where they are? If they're not available, how do we handle that? Do we delete them from the database? Do we mark them somehow as invalid and not to be used? So I think apparently there's a discourse post about it. So yeah, maybe I'll see if I can spend some time thinking of a decent proposal and write that up so that we've maybe got a way of doing it so that we can then use that as a basis of how to go about implementing this.
Yeah,
because it's something that can be done in
Liquid Soap
Public Analyzer or a new Python script.
The line-in recording, I think it can be done in Liquid Soap from either the Liquid Soap logic or pushing the Liquid Soap asking to Icecast to record the output stream. And maybe it requires some recent version of Liquid Soap, but recording it's really not. It's practically at our door. We just have to say, please record from now to then, and we'll have the recording stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of depends what that live streaming or line-in recording is used for. If it's used as like voice tracks that can then be scheduled, that could just be done in JavaScript. It could just be done client-side. But if it's more, I don't know, recording the actual stream or broadcasting it straight to the stream in kind of like a studio setup, then Liquid Soap's definitely a better way to go.
We have plenty of questions, I think, in the chat.
Yeah, so let's dig into that. One question is, could we get some help on packaging LibreTime and Cloudron? There is a link there. Cauldron is an amazing way to deploy applications. So yeah, sure, we can. Happy to have a look at it. I've never used Cauldron before, so we need someone familiar with how Cauldron packaging goes. But in terms of actual like LibreTime experience, we are more than happy to dig into that. Docker images, I think they're rather out of date at the moment. There were two different Docker images. One was a more production setup where you've got a Docker image for each service, and you have then Docker Compose to orchestrate all of those. And then there was also one that it's just one Docker image and everything runs in that. Not very Docker-like. I'll see if I can find those.
I've been working on a modern Docker setup, but it's still really early work in progress. But I've been putting my hand in this direction also.
Yeah, so we do have a containerization repo that's empty at the moment. My suggestion, maybe Ned Kelly has the multi-core one. I'll post that in, I'll just add it under any other business, so Docker. And so Ned Kelly's is a set of containers that run there, and that's fairly out of date, so maybe we use that as a starting point or set up something separate to start building those Docker images, because I agree that would be very helpful for my use case as well. Pretty much all the other services we maintain and host run in Docker and Kubernetes. LibreTime's pretty much the one only thing that we don't. So yeah, Docker images are definitely the way to go, and we can definitely start looking at that and getting that working. My current goal is to get Alpha 10 packaged and uploaded to the PPA, potentially to open build service as well as a test. So once that's up and done, I can certainly take a look at doing more of the Docker images. If anyone is interested, I will try find the. Let's see. I think it's just LibreTime. LibreTime container images, which is a completely blank. So we can have work done there in that container or in that repo, and have that going as pretty much as normal. Steve asks, why was the code from Ground Truth in his New Zealand never committed? Probably because they never proposed it. They didn't contribute it back. It is available, so we can put it in if we want, but they didn't do that to begin with. They didn't create that. Cool, and then there's a Cloud Run demo posted in the link. We can definitely have a look at that after this and kind of explore. I'm interested in Cloud Run because I run a Sandstorm instance. In fact, I maintain the Debian one, which is what we're using for the agenda and stuff. So I'd be curious to see how it matches up. Okay. Shall we move on to the API clients?
Did we close the status for v3 release question?
Yes.
I'm
So yeah,
sure.
I think the line in recording, I agree with you, isn't a huge blocker. The watch folders are, and we need to come up with a solid plan or just an implementation of this to kind of go forward with, because we can have lots of questions about it, but it's easier when there's actual code in front of us or a solid proposal to work from. I'm happy to take a look at it, but it's not going to be soon.
Yeah. What do you think about moving the whole uploading stuff to the new API using Django, and to use this to re-implement something serious and to handle all this scanning? And because if we have the whole upload thing in Django, we can then just scan anything we would like, and it's way more easier to put it in Django and move on there, instead of trying to fiddle with the PHP code and the JS. And
Yeah, no, for sure. I think we probably shouldn't rewrite the website upload to use V2 yet. Do that as part of the Vue rewrite, but a watch file based one, and the client should definitely be moved to that.
but I mean, we can have the exact same front end, but just redirect the whole upload to a new endpoint in the API and trigger any analysis or anything from there, and have a second API call that's more modern one, not the legacy one, and have also being able to push any upload using any script from there, or I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
I have to try it out and put my nose into it, but I haven't. It's just an idea off the top of my head.
Yeah, I would definitely like to move more to API v2.
Okay, so I guess we can kind of have a status quo v3, but now.
Yeah. Okay. The API client libraries, I very much like the idea of generating them through the open API spec, and just building or generating those based on CI runs. I don't see much issue with that. We would need, I think I don't have enough permissions. No, I don't. We need Rob or Lucas to create those repos for us. Do we want to do one mono repo for all of the API clients? Do we want one per language?
I think we can have a mono repo for all the language, and if one has to be in his own repo, we can just extract it from there.
Yeah, cool. I think JavaScript and Python are probably the most useful languages. Are there any others that stand out?
Golang.
Golang. Cool.
And maybe JavaScript / Node. I don't know if we have we can generate both of them.
To be honest, I've not worked with Node enough to kind of understand the difference when it would come to an API. There would just be a JavaScript library, wouldn't it?
No, actually, you can have different clients that are more oriented to Node or more client-side based, like browser-based or really machine server implementations. It really depends on the generator, but you have the choice to either take one of them or to make both or to have one different for each.
Okay.
But I think it's interesting to have Node as well because I think many people use it. And I saw in the survey that one of them is using Node to serve their application.
Yeah, at least one of our clients is using Node.js for the entire stack. Cool. And in says if you're using JavaScript, the Free Software Foundation has a new JavaScript Freedom app that does. It's called JShelter. That does. I assume blocks JavaScript, prevents fingerprinting, tracking, and data collection.
Okay.
That's quite cool. Okay, so I'll see if I can ping Rob or Lucas to create that repo for us, so that we can get that set up and running. So that'd be quite nice to have and work with.
I think you can already, or one of us can already do it in some kind of your own repo and transfer it to the organization.
Yeah, in fact, because let's see if I get time to do that in the next little while, because that's the projects that I'm working on, kind of waiting on that, so I can definitely take a look at that. Cool. Then the view front end rewrite, I kind of put this in here hoping that Heme would be here. He's not, so I guess with the API clients we can kind of start trying to work that in a bit more, but the watch folders probably takes more preference to that.
A little question, because like I see that we're going really fast in the direction of using Vue generating API clients, but I feel like all the API clients and the Vue, if we use the API clients for Vue, we'll be building on something that's for me still experimental and not stable at all. Like for me, the V2 API with Django is absolutely not in the shape that I would like it to be. Like there's a lot of things that are useful right now, but that, in my opinion, should change, like in a more, I don't know, a less copy paste from the old structure of the old code.
Yeah, so the main issue is we're tied to the schema of the database. We don't really have the ability to change that yet until we've moved off the Propal management of that. So yeah, if we can get Propal dependencies, like get rid of its management of the database and be able to use Django's, we can restructure that quite easily, to make it a bit more user-friendly, a bit more relational in how it works, because there are some weird aspects of that database. And yeah, the goal kind of with the API was to build it out as we built the front end, to make it more robust and more usable as we make use of it, so that we're not implementing features that aren't used, or spending lots of time on something that actually isn't necessarily important.
Okay, but what about decoupling the database structure that we have in Django and the view that we have? Like the whole view set could be tweaked and have their own structure before we have to deal with, like the whole view set are right now the copy paste of the models from the DB, and maybe we can just break it and start to have a better API and just try to glue the whole database with Django. Maybe it's a too lot of work, but I don't know, maybe it's some kind of idea. Otherwise, we have to do a lot of work of rewriting some API calls, and it would mean a new API version, and again, a lot of work. I don't know, I'm just throwing it in the discussion, and I was just asking, but now I have some kind of answer, but I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, what parts of that API would you want to have redone or rewrite?
I don't know, for instance, the user API is like, you have so many things that's actually not needed and could be trimmed out, and a lot of API calls could be chained. I mean, I don't know how to explain that, but there is a lot of, there is no structure in the, for instance, we have a show, and the show have some instances, and this could be in a single URL, so you can understand that this instance is part of a show that's already defined in the URL. And instead of having one call for this show and one call for this show instance, that is also talking about the show that's on another URL. I don't know, maybe I'm not clear enough what I'm talking about.
No, I get what you mean. So, like, for example, instead of having API v2 show instance 5, it should be rather under API v2 show 5 / instances or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, those kind of rearrangements we can do quite easily. That's just the Django REST framework routing. So, in fact, that's what's it? API / API / LibreTime API URLs.py, and that just needs reworking there.
Yeah, okay, but so we don't have any fear about generating API clients that then will be used by Vue that will be at some point changed. We don't have any. I mean, we are happy to declare the API clients as stable or.
So no, I think the Vue rewrite's going to take a long time, like in the order of probably a year or two, from when we actually started to it being anything kind of useful. So, or a majority of what users see. So I think before then, we can quite happily have v2 not be stable and make changes as we need to. So, but yes, I agree. Major changes like restructuring the URI structure should probably happen sooner rather than later, so that those aren't large changes that we need to then change or break later.
Yeah, okay. Okay, thanks for the answer.
Cool. I just want to check if there's any other comments. No. Okay, cool. Shall we chat about Essentia?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. I'm sorry, I'm a bit tired. We talked about it like some days ago, and some days ago, yesterday, I think. Oh, this afternoon. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember, but yes,
Yeah.
I have had a look at it. It looks quite cool.
Yeah, so I think it will be really interesting to start using it. I'm starting to have some experimentation for the analyzer, and yeah, the whole problem I have right now is that it's first it's a bit messy. They don't have any change logs, so we will have it will be a nightmare to track what's happening there.
Yeah.
And they don't have packages if we need the support on Debian and derived distributions. And
Yeah, so The other thing I looked, they don't. Maybe I just missed it in the documentation, but there didn't seem to be any kind of silence detection or things like that. I saw there was quite prominent beat detection.
Yeah, and mood detection.
Say again, and?
Mood detection of the
Oh,
mood
cool.
of the music.
Oh, that's cool.
Hmm. You
Um,
didn't find any silence detection. Wow.
I mean, I could well have missed it. It wasn't a very deep dive into their documentation.
I will check it out, but I'll double check. But yeah, I was just proposing it, and I was hoping that we could, I don't know, agree that maybe if it's getting interesting, we put our hands in their repo and we try to clean it up there. But I will not feel comfortable by doing it all by myself because it's maybe a lot of work. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think if it's something that'll work for what we needed to do, I'd be happy diving into it as well. Essentia. Because it's a C++ library with Python wrapping. Yeah, it's quite possible. And I could see it being useful in a couple other projects as well.
Yeah, Hammer, so Lucas said the same.
And
Yeah, I
yeah,
didn't
they seem to
prepare
be
it.
quite active in their development, which is great. Cool. Just want to see. There seems to be tickets with like replay gain mentions and stuff like that. So yeah.
You mean the ticket I made to replace Silent and Airgain
No,
free?
sorry. I'm looking at Essentia's
Okay.
issue. There's mentions of replay gain support and stuff. So I think the one tricky thing there that we need to just make sure that is possible is the silence detection. I mean, alternatively, we could well just use a different library for that and use Essentia for everything else.
Yeah. And I think essentially it's based on libav. So most of the libraries and dependency will be bundled also for FFmpeg, and we have the possibility to use the silence detection we're using FFmpeg.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that'll work quite well.
Or maybe we can ask them to implement it. I don't think it's really difficult. Maybe having some kind of volume detection is maybe already enough.
Yeah, just kind of. We could even do it in our own, but yeah, it's definitely something that's not a blocker to using Essentia.
Yeah. Cool. I'll try to. I think I might write some kind of issue to get in contact with them and see how they feel about us putting our hands in their project, and if they're happy that we give a hand. I guess they will be. And yeah, just say LibreTime might use it, and we'll I'll
Yeah,
do this.
yeah, sounds good. Okay. Just make a note here. So we are getting to kind of the end of the hour. Are there any questions or comments or anything from anyone else? There's talk in the Jitsi chat about a Cloud Run demo could work as a LibreTime demo, which would be great. So yeah, definitely I'll want to look into that. Get an idea of what's going on there. Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thank you, everyone who's kind of spent the time to be here, lurking or contributing, and everyone who's been contributing ideas, code, and documentation, everything else. Finances for those who have. And I really need to get around to sorting out that spending proposal so we can actually use that money.
Yeah, actually, regarding this, how and when will we be choosing to spend this money?
Once we finalize this discourse post.
Okay. I think Hammer was hoping we can put the money for the documentation rewrite, or having someone stepping in and doing it and doing something nice.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that. Yeah, in terms of the actual like documentation, Jekyll versus make docs thing, I don't really have a preference either way. I think that needs to be worked out with Zach and kind of those who care about it. But I do agree we need to try get our documentation to fully cover what the features of LibreTime.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I started to work on this direction, and I stopped my work on the new website I was proposing, and I feel a bit uncomfortable overwriting the work of Zach without having his I don't know how to say blessing or approval. But I don't know. Maybe I don't want to talk about this on the record. But yeah, I feel like we're not getting along right now. I don't know what's happening. Maybe it's not. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Okay, yeah. Maybe I can try help smooth things over there. I'll have a look at the tickets and see what I can do.
I mean, we never really talked, but it's just that I don't know how to get to an agreement with him
Yeah.
either, and I don't get him to either argue or agree, and for me it's like a sterile discussion, and I think it's sad.
Yeah, no, for sure. And also, isn't there a Libre alternative to Discourse? Discourse is you're thinking of Discord. Discourse is a forum software that is open source. We're using their hosted system. But for real-time chat, we're using Mattermost at chat.libretime.org. But yeah, I agree with the. I'll take a look at that ticket and see what I can do to help there, because I agree it is kind of awkward trying to make large changes to something that someone's worked on with if they don't really agree with it.
Yeah.
Okay, and then next meeting, let's have a look. The 19th of, no, it was the 17th. The 17th of November is a Wednesday. Does that sound good? I'm curious how many people from the US and kind of North American time zones are available and actually want to contribute. I know Bob is one, but I don't know of many others, because it would be nice for those of us in more the European and African time zones to be a bit earlier, because 9 o'clock at night is actually quite late.
I'm thinking about Gus, maybe, but he hasn't showed up.
Yeah, and Rob would be another one. Okay, maybe something to think about. I'll see if I can. Yeah, last time I put a discourse post up about this, it didn't get much traction. I think for the moment, let's keep it as is. So I've proposed Wednesday, the 17th of November at 1900 UTC, and maybe we have that be the last one of the year. I think December is going to be busy and things are away, and then we can look at redoing things, rescheduling things from Jan onwards.
Yeah,
maybe have a bit.
Probably that. I don't know. I heard that maybe it was actually the time where people will be more available, like Rob and Lucas say that they will be more available in winter. In winter in the northern hemisphere.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we might just put a small meeting, or maybe just put it between parentheses and say if we need it, we might do it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Maybe in early December, not end of December.
Yeah. So maybe we look at having it December. What's this? Like the second week of December or something. Or the first or second week. But yeah, I think that's reasonable, and we can iron out exactly how that works at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks so much, everyone. That was a good, productive meeting.
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you. Cool. Yeah, ciao.
I'm waiting to end the stream on YouTube, but it's taking a while to catch up to real time. There we go.
And I don't think I will be a bit